All right, so um, this is my project. It's just a little thing that I made with Raylib because it's a library that I'm pretty comfortable with in other languages like Rust and Python. And I figured that it would be a good way to make something fun and visual while practicing the C++ syntax and kind of object-oriented paradigm. So this is my main C++ thing. Um, This right here looks really complex, but it's really not. It just spawns 100 random little circles that are moving in a random direction with a random speed. Um, this part was pretty much just, I don't know, ChatGPT asking it how to do this with Raylib because it provides some really useful get random value type stuff. Um, but anyway, this down here, you can see here's like a game loop world.update with get frame time. So world I define up here is a physics world, which is a custom class that I made. I also add 100 particles. That's my second class. So I'll just show you those real quick. Here, let's see, here's the header file. So you can see a physics world is just a container for particles with functions that allows you to add particles to it, lets you update, which just calls update on all the particles, and calls or in draw, which just calls draw on every particle. So wait, here we go. Yeah, pretty basic. Just pushes a particle that you give it to the back of a vector. Here, for each particle, it just calls the update function. And if you're holding down the left mouse button, then it does all of this to basically apply a force to the particle that moves it towards the cursor. So that's pretty fun. And then here, just the same thing as update, but for draw. And if I look over here, as you can see, particle update. Particles have a position and velocity. They have a radius and color, but that's just visual. So here, update, I just update these every frame, multiplying it by the delta, which is the kind of the resolution of the physics simulation. So here, just draw just some Raylib functions and stuff, but it was kind of tricky for me learning how to use the C++ syntax because in most other languages, you don't have a header file and then an implementation file. You just have one file that contains the class where you define things and implement them. So that was kind of interesting, but it was sort of nice because I noticed that I was able to define things in here, and before I'd implemented them, I was able to call them elsewhere. And because I defined them and what they're supposed to take in and put out, in here, it would just work because in order for it to be used, it doesn't actually have to know what the function does. It just has to know what it takes in and what it gives out. So that was pretty cool. Um, this right here, pragma, I'm not 100% sure. Actually, I'm pretty sure I know what this does. So this guarantees that it's not, I think this guarantees that it isn't like imported into the same context more than once. I had to get ChatGPT's help with this because when I included particle and physics world both in my main file, it kept giving me like this weird error that wasn't making sense, saying that particle was being redefined somewhere, and I couldn't figure it out. So finally, I just plugged the error into ChatGPT, and it was like, "Oh, you have to use this." And I'm like, "Wow, I would not have thought that because I know that it'll yell at you if you have circular dependencies or anything like that, but I was unaware that that was something that could happen because this imports particle, but particle also imports particle. So I think that's where the issue is coming up. Yeah, so enough talk. I will also mad props to ChatGPT for helping me figure out how to debug this make file that I have to simplify stuff. I love make, it's great. way simpler than like memorizing a bunch of commands that I need to run every time I want to compile my project. So now, uh, /Raylib project, and ta-da! As you can see, you should try left clicking because it's fun. And if you click, they all fly towards the cursor. And yeah, I've done some similar projects like this in Python and in Rust. Each one has kind of a different twist on it. Like in Rust, I made it so that they like bounced off the edges of the screen and like affected each other gravitationally. It was kind of fun. But yeah, that's my project.